Hey guys, today I am taking a look at what I find a very cool, basically plastic welder. It's basically what it amounts to. It's not a glue. It doesn't really work the same way as a glue does. It works more like a welder would work. And as you can see by the box here, it has been featured or spoken of on multiple websites. I think it's a really cool item with so much usefulness and so many useful projects and fixes and things that you can do with this. So this is the Bondic media kit. I'm very grateful they sent me this to give you guys a little bit of a review and idea about it. I don't know how I don't know about this already. I really love this type of stuff. And this is basically the box it comes with. And we'll set that out of the way. And I want to go over what was included with this particular kit. You get these nice little metal cases, and that is because the product is UV reactive. If you use this in the sun, it will pretty much set within seconds. So this is what it looks like. You've got your pin, which we will get to this a little bit more in detail because I'm going to show you guys how to fix something on video shortly. And then you have your UV light right here. It does have screws on the back side, so you can replace the battery if you need to. And it is removable very easily, so that is very cool. It comes with a little instructional how-to and some of the common fixes, very well laid out. Talks about the different ways to repair it and how to go about doing the repairs. The thickness, the more thickness that you have in the material, in the liquid, the longer you'll need to hold the light to it for it to cure. It says 4 to 8 seconds. A lot of people just state 4 seconds. It's about 4 to 8 seconds. And one thing to keep in mind, if the liquid becomes sort of tacky, you may want to look at a new battery or a new light altogether. The batteries are replaceable, so you could change out the battery. It's a coin battery, very easily done. But yeah, your UV light, it may not have enough power to adequately cure the liquid, so that's something to keep in mind if you start having any issues with tackiness. What you want to keep in mind with this stuff is if you decide to use it in anything electrical, you are only wanting to use this up to 50 volts AC and 120 volt DC. Anything over that is exceeding what this should be used for. So don't go crazy thinking this will be the end-all solution for everything, although it works with a lot of different things. It's a solvent-free liquid, and the liquid does stay fluid, viscous, until you apply the UV light, which is really cool because with glue a lot of times you're in a rush to hurry up and get something done before it sets or quick sets. So anyway, with this media kit, I have basically, it is a lot of documentation similar to what you would find on the website. It's very, very interesting stuff. If you want to know more about the actual product, check out their website, and that is actually clearly marked on some of the different material here. A couple of brochures here, really well done. Shows you some of the different things that are key points you'll want to keep in mind, and it shows you the 4 steps that are very, very simple. Sand it down. There's an item that I'm going to repair on camera, as I mentioned. I sanded it with the emery board and then cleaned it with alcohol just for the sake of having it ready to go. Fill in the gap between cure and shape. You can sand this, you can paint this, you can drill into this. You can do a lot of things with this that make it extremely useful. The liquid, it can be actually applied underwater, but one thing to keep in mind, the little flashlight that comes with this is not waterproof, so I guess throw it in a Ziploc bag and stick it under the water and you're good to go. You can kind of think of this as a welder for 3D printing basically, or like I said, welder, soldering, and you basically just have to build up the layers over time. So if you roughen up the surface, you'll get a much better adhesion, so that's good. And in some cases you may even want to drill holes so that it permeates the object. just keep in mind that the UV light must reach it, so you can't go in between or under things like a glue would, so you can't use it for that. But the website I mentioned earlier, this is the actual URL, notaglue.com. There are tons of videos which I became sort of obsessed with on YouTube, which is why I'm actually making one of my own, because I just couldn't stop watching all the different things they can repair. So they have a really nice documentation they included with this product, which is really cool. Like I said, you got the metal case and the pin here, and they were kind enough to send me a couple, so I have 2 of those. Like I said, these are the instructions that I mentioned earlier. And they also sent me a refill cartridge and a additional light, which is really, really cool. So I'm going to probably find more uses than I can imagine with time, because I've already gotten some use out of it fixing some things for a friend of mine. But I'm going to show you, like I said, on camera here in a moment. This is one of the example products they've already shown. Under the solder joints, they basically put a small piece, or not really piece, but a small application of the plastic from, the Bondic pin. And so that is now sealed. It sealed those connections. If that was something you needed, then this would be a really good thing. I do a lot with gadgets, electronics. I said I used it for a friend for some electronic stuff he needed, and it's been working fine. And I do a lot of laptop repair, so this will be super, super handy for me. And speaking of laptop repair and other electronics, USB ports and USB cables, things of that nature, we use them on just about everything these days. If you had a fray in this cord somewhere, you could fill that in, and that would be good. If you had issues with this here and it's starting to weaken, you can reinforce that. So that would be a really good benefit for this. And if you look here on the top, you can actually see the clear portion that's been rebuilt and then sanded slightly. So that actually is, like I said, like a 3D printer of sort, or a welder. You can fill things in and build a 3D and then sand and paint it if you wanted to. We'll just leave it clear. Doesn't really matter. Personal choice, obviously. One of the other examples they sent is this little remote control. You can't really see it on camera, but if you look through the other end, you can actually see that there's light that comes through this because of the clear. There was a hole there, almost the same size of the hole you see here with the LED, and they're able to patch that and fill that in. So if you have any electronics, things of that nature, you can very easily fix them with this. So that's super, super handy and a very good example. Here we have some wire, and you can see there is a coating on this. What you could do is you could solder your wire and cover this and have the plastic become an isolator for if you have any kind of water type issues. This would eliminate that because it fully encapsulates it if you apply it properly. And then if you use heat shrink tubing, if you're familiar with that, a lot of people use that, but when you put it on there, what happens is when you light it, the ends sometimes will actually flare out just a little. You could actually utilize this to fill those gaps and seal that, and then it would be basically just as good as it would if it was just a wire that never had any kind of cut or damage or splicing, joining, anything. So this is a really cool thing, and I don't know if I could pull this apart if I wanted to, but I can tell you that it's on there tight. Actually, I'm actually pulling the actual copper or the sheathing off the copper. I pulled hard enough. I've pulled it away on both sides. So this stuff is really, really strong once it's bonded. Something for maybe hobbyists or just anyone really, but I can see a lot of use in hobbies. This is actually 2 bolts held together, as you can see by the Bondic. Let me turn this light on and see if I can get a little better. Maybe you guys can see. There's actually threads inside the plastic, and this stuff is really solid. You can hear it has a little bit of almost a tiny bit of a rubbery flex to it, just a slight bit, but it does get really solid, really hard as well. So I think durability, from all the videos I've seen on the Bondic site and from what I'm looking at and what I'm feeling here, it just feels like it's going to last and bond really well. This thing does stay liquid. They say you can store it for up to a year. Actually, on the videos they've spoken about it, or their website spoken about it lasting quite a bit longer. It comes in a black casing, and then it comes, of course, inside the metal tin, so that way you don't have any chances of UV light permeating this. It's not a translucent material whatsoever, and that means you should get the full life out of this. I think the average amount of application is probably in the neighborhood, I think 80 drops I read. So I guess depending on your usage and how far you go with it and what you do with it, obviously how long it's going to last. So if you do buy this in a retail form, this is basically what you're going to be looking at. Nicely packaged. It is, I love this part, just the cool little 4-second indicator in the O, so that's really cool. And it has several languages, and it tells you some of the things it works on: metal, wood, ceramics, glass, plastics, and more. As I said, the uses are fairly unlimited, it feels like. Jewelry repair shown here, wire isolation. Here they have a copper pipe with a hole in it, and it patches it. I've actually watched a demo where they patched it, they drilled a hole in it to show it was still under pressure, and this thing did not leak. So that's really cool. More pictures and documentation. Obviously, you don't want to. There's no smell to this stuff, and you don't want to inhale it purposely or have any vapors or get it on your hands and things. It's not sticky to the touch, and it wipes off really easily. So obviously, you want to get rid of it, and get it off your hands sooner rather than later. But it is not. To me, it was not in the least irritable to my skin, and I just rinsed my hands off, and I was good to go. But use your common sense and safety. Like I said, they do have the information posted, and again, the website here, Facebook. You can become a Facebook follower of the Bondic company. Like I said, it seems like a really, really cool product. All right, so basically, I guess what everyone's really interested in is knowing how well it works and seeing how well it works. Well, unfortunately, I broke this. It's just a little mount, and my chair spun around and hit this and snapped the one of the arms. As you can see, they're not very thick, and what I went ahead and did, and I'm going to go do later, I scuffed up all of these with the emery board, and I'll reinforce these, so I don't want these to break. So I'm going to do that later on, but right now the broken one is what I'm really going to focus on. And as you can see, the plastic has been scuffed. I wanted to give it just that little extra capability of locking in and holding really well. And if I pull that apart there, you should be able to see very easily. There's a pretty good break there. And I've tried some different glues on some different things, and I've never been overly impressed with a lot of the glue and a lot of the claims. And I've even bought Loctite brand, which is, I thought, one of the best in the business as far as name brands. And I've not had a lot of luck with one of their glues, at least, holding pretty much everything I've tried it on. So I figured that this would be a much better test. So anyway, I said I've already cleaned this. I've already sanded it with the emery board, and then I've also went ahead and cleaned it off with alcohol, a little cotton ball alcohol. So this should be free of any grease or solvents or any dust and things from the shaving or filing. So anyway, what we're going to do is take our little pin, take off the cap, and I'm going to go ahead and apply a little bit of this, and then I'm going to do a little bit more than the 4 seconds, just because I think waiting a little longer is worth it. Like I said, the cool thing is it's not like super glue and all. You have to be in a rush to hurry up, because this stuff will just stay liquid. You can't really probably pick it up on camera, but you can sort of tell that the consistency has changed just a little bit. It's not super obvious, but it does seem to me there's a little bit, I want to say it's still clear, but there's a little bit more lack of visual clarity when it comes to the light having done it. One thing you also want to keep in mind, this stuff, it's not hot like it's going to burn you, most likely. But there is a chemical reaction that occurs when this stuff is active with the UV light. So there's going to be a little bit of heat that's generated by it. I don't think you have to worry too much about it. So let's see. Build this up here a little. And we're just taking our time. No rush. I said, a beautiful thing. Not having to worry about this drying too fast on me. One thing, you know, also UV light, sunshine, you're not going to do a lot of this in the sun because it will pretty much solidify right away. So, let's go ahead and put the cap back on this so I don't bump it. And let's pull the light out. These are the same thing as you'll see on a lot of keychains, some promotional. It's got the Bondic label on the back, and that's all you need to do. Hit this thing up. Say, unfortunately, my chair spun around one day. This is mounted to a desk, and so I can use my phone when I'm on the PC or, you know, in the office. So I'm pretty sure I've went way longer than needed, but like I said, I wanted to make sure and coat this and cover this really well with both the liquid, and I wanted to bathe it in some UV light for a long enough time. I definitely feel this is not going to be an issue or break again. This little light does have a switch on it, which you can see I've got it on because I'm not pressing and squeezing, but you can turn this on just by squeezing it also. So you can squeeze it and hold. Like I said, it's not waterproof, so you can use this stuff underwater, the pin and everything, but you want to remove this first. So throw this in a Ziploc bag or something. So I've rambled enough. I just wanted to make sure. And now, yeah, that is not going anywhere. Yeah, that's definitely locked in now. You can see it's it was very, very easy to pull that apart before, and now it's, well, I'd say it's better than new since it actually has a little more thickness to it. So as you can tell, this is a cool, super useful, super handy product that you can use around the house. I got friends of mine that have RC boats, and I was talking to them about it today. I think we're going to try it on some of their boats to seal some of the cracks and damage and everything. So I'm really grateful again. Thank you to Bondic for sending me this little media kit with all these examples and these goodies and, you know, refills and whatnot. I think this thing is just really cool, really fun. So I'm looking forward to getting a lot more use out of it. As you saw, it only took a few moments. It was super easy. And this thing, okay, I thought I broke it, but I didn't. That was the teeth here breaking loose. But yeah, I don't think I could break it. Oh, I don't think I put enough on it. Well, let's do it better. I did not build enough on there. That was my fault. I didn't bond it the way I'm still adjusting. Like I said, this stuff is new. You can't treat this stuff like a glue. You do have to treat it like a bonding agent. So you put it on both sides and have it bond. So just get some more on there. Kind of worried about making it too thick. You're supposed to go 1 to 1.5 millimeters with this stuff, and I just want to make sure I'm not going too over the top with it. Alright, well, let's give it another shot. A little bit temperamental light there, I suppose. Not a big deal. Alright. Wonder if I missed some of the area earlier. I don't know. But I think I've covered the entire area fairly well. But I know also, like I said, you're supposed to build this stuff up, and I didn't really do that. I had a super thin layer on it the first time, and that was my own fault. Very easy to apply with this little metal applicator. You can get into some pretty good little spots, so that's nice. Alright, flip our little UV light and take it out. I think it's a little easier to use out of the casing, personally. Now we've built up a little bit more. Alright. Just want to make sure I got all areas covered with this light. Obviously, if I do not, it's not going to cure. It's going to stay liquid, and that's not going to benefit us in the least. Alright. Alright. Let's make sure and just double check by using the other light. Just so we can be sure. Just in case that was a item that had been sitting a while, I want to make sure this is completely cured with the UV light. So I want to use the other one just in case. Alright. I don't know how well you can see that, but I got a little bit more thickness this time. It probably would be beneficial to do a little more further out from the actual crack. But this is a learning experience. Like I said, I did it with just one time before this, and I really wanted you guys to see more of a, well, sort of a first time use type thing, so you know what to expect. I just did a little tiny drop basically on the electronic thing I was working on for someone, little charger, last night after resoldering it for them. So not a lot of experience with this stuff just yet. hopefully I stay in focus here as much as possible, in frame. Alright. So now, just in case we've tried both lights, and I feel like that should be more than adequate time wise. Alright, so example bolts over here making a little noise. Alright. Well, it's not coming off on my hands. So that's cool. Yeah, feels dry everywhere. Yeah, now it feels like I'm putting a lot more pressure on it now. Yeah, yeah. It's bending a little bit, flexing, but it's not breaking. I just didn't have enough on it. Like I said, kind of basically a first time use. The other thing I didn't require any tension whatsoever. It had no tension on it. It was more of just an extra attempt to keep two halves together. So it didn't require a whole lot. But yeah, you might be able to tell, looking down, that there is a little joint right there that's not here on the other end. I don't know. Let's see. So it appears to work well. I'm going to play with it some more, obviously, but I can see so many potential uses for it. So anyway, sorry this review got a little long-winded. I just wanted to double check, but I wanted you to see this repair on camera. And yeah, I think we are good. Alright, thanks again to Bondic for sending me out this media kit. I really enjoyed being able to do a little review on this and just kind of give you guys an idea of what to expect if you're thinking about purchasing it. And otherwise, if I can help, I will do my best. Leave a comment below, and we'll go from there. Okay? Thanks for watching.